How, in 12 minutes flat, can we speak about a country which does not exist? How can we reference a country absent in the grand concert of nations, a diplomatic ghost who possesses its own flag? East of the continent, the Horn of Africa is Somalian territory. Bordering Somalia is Somaliland. Given onto the Indian Ocean, strategic Somalia always aroused greed. In the north, territories were placed under British protectorate in 1898 and became Somaliland. The south becomes an Italian colony in 1905 and takes the name of Somalia. It will be like this until the summer of 1960, when the Europeans withdraw and the two separate states, Somalia and Somaliland, become officially independent. A few days later, they decide to unite into one country. In 1969, Colonel Siad Barre takes power. He applies a hardline communism, wages war for 2 years in Ethiopia, and loses. Set against the dictatorship, a movement of liberation takes weapons in 1982. 70,000 deaths later, they depose the tyrant in 1991.
Before, I wouldn't like to be a soldier because I just wanted to get the freedom. That is why I was fighting, just to get the freedom. As soon as I get the freedom in 1991, I stopped there. I put the gun down. Those who were died during the war, some of them, they were my best friends. I remember always. But the enemy against us at that time, we forgiven them. Some of them, they are here, but we forgive them.
After deposing the tyrant, the SNM proclaimed the independence of Somaliland, using the borders previously drawn by the former British protector. Somaliland is reborn and would like to be recognized by the international community. However, only Somalia is officially recognized by the Arab League and the UN. Somaliland, because of non-recognition and the fact that the government of Mogadishu possesses the seat of Somalia in New York's United Nations, and that the Mogadishan government is recognized and supported by the Westerns, refuse the independence of Somaliland and are ready to conquer them if they have the means for it, which is not the case.
Est prêt à bouffer le Somaliland, à le conquérir, s'il en avait les moyens, ce qui n'est pas le cas. Et par ailleurs, les islamistes,
also, the Islamists, who are the enemies of the Westerners, have the same purpose, to eat Somaliland.
De la MISOM, etc., a le même but, aussi manger le Somaliland. C'est assez inquiétant.
It is rather disturbing when you are a small and very poor state of the third world to notice that the pro-Americans and the most fundamental Islamists have the same idea concerning you, to eat you. Taken between a Western hammer and an Islamist anvil, ignored diplomatically, it is very difficult, almost impossible, to incur the good financial favors of the international institution.
We need international investment from the international community, particularly direct foreign investment. But we also need to have access to credit facilities in the World Bank, the African Development Bank. We need to be able to borrow money from these institutions. Now we cannot borrow money from these institutions, and we do not have much direct foreign investment because of the problem of lack of recognition.
With a population estimated at 3.5 million inhabitants, Somaliland survives an everyday life of poverty and lack of modern infrastructure.
Well, we have a very small number of industry in this country. Most of the things we consume are manufactured outside the country. And the main reason why we don't have more industries is because of the cost of energy. Energy is extremely expensive in this country. You're talking about $1 to $1.50 a kilowatt hour. That's very expensive compared, for example, to Ethiopia, where the unit price is only 6 cents.
What other country in the world offers the vision of pallets of banknotes displayed on the sidewalks? A currency which is valued only here in the absence of any international parity. Abdi Younis, a thriving businessman in the production of milk, sees the impact of non-recognition every day.
This is a country that is more peaceful than all of its surroundings. And I think that is, we believe, one of the reasons that can attract, foreign investors. There are a lot of facilities that are missing. Banks are not here. Investment, and funds are not available. So those who have got business, ideas have very, very tough times to go through. And that's how business, grows. You go and, get loans, and then you invest in your business, and then you pay back. That is an opportunity which is denied to the Somalilanders. So all the business that we are doing with our cash.
One of the major challenges to develop as a country is to provide adequate water for both animals and human consumption, as well as agriculture. And we have 2 seasons during the year, and we need to catch that water to sustain life, because there is only X amount of water underground. Even if you develop your groundwater, you still really need to adequately maintain adequate use for your people. You need to catch the surface water before it just runs off to the ocean. So we have very limited capital to invest in this type of infrastructure.
Other major problems, as everywhere else in Africa, is deforestation.
We don't really have a program to replant trees. We would love to, but we just don't have the resources to do that. Maybe hopefully when we have resources, we develop our natural resources and we have available capital to do so, that is absolutely something we would love to do. But you can't just tell people don't cut trees because they have to cook, and you have to give them something that they have to cook with. So if we are successful in getting our mineral coal out and basically develop that and be able to really kind of provide something for people to cook with, then we can save whatever trees we have left in the country.
At the moment, the only export of Somaliland are animals. Camels, sheep, and goats are shipped to the port of Berbera, 150 kilometers from the capital, Hargelsa. The herds are then exported towards all the countries in the Gulf. With waters full of fish, Somaliland could easily realize a significant revenue stream. Once again, because of the absence of international financing, Somaliland is forced to hire Yemenite fishing boats to fish in their waters. Just beside the fishing boats is a container ship with a fake soldier and a sign discouraging pirates from nearby Puntland. In February 2012, London hosted an international conference dedicated to piracy in the Gulf of Aden and to the chronic instability of Somalia. A delegation of Somaliland was present, but in an unofficial capacity. It's an absurd situation. Ahmed Silanyo, president of Somaliland, speaks but does not appear in the official movie. Back in the capital, Hargelsa, it's almost surprising to find a university. The students come and go as if on any other campus. Eagerly, they take courses taught by professors trained abroad who choose to return to their country.
When schools started here, according to 2001 or so, the enrollment was only 1,000, okay? Because there were no institutions then. Today, the enrollment of primary and secondary schools exceed more than 250,000 students. And there are the 5 national universities I talked about have about 15,000 students. The other challenge that is being faced by universities, the lack of employment opportunities for students. For example, this couple months ago, we had about 640 students graduating from Hargelsa University, and almost all didn't have the possibility of getting a job.
Facing an adversity which lasts close to 22 years, what can these people do? Pray to gods? Shout their hatred to the world? Or look ahead?
We're holding our breath to be recognized, and that's the only time you're going to develop. We don't really see it that way. We continue to march on towards development with or without recognition. We have all the hallmarks of a state for 21 years. We have gone through 4 democratically elected governments with no shots fired, and you cannot say that from many big countries in Africa. You cannot say that, that they have gone this kind of democracy. We have an open system, we have a free press. We feel with time, recognition will come as well. As a matter of fact, we feel we're going to be the 55th state in Africa in the not too distant future.
Wishful thinking, illusion, or deeply rooted faith in a brighter future. Certainly a little of all of this at the same time.
I'm requesting from the world, Somaliland to be a part of the world.
imisa tog dheer la isku xidhay xajiyo wilba xunxun dhalay haasina miyaan tana la xasuusan